Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Bloomburrow. Without further ado, let's grab our Pack 1 Pick 1 Mythic Rare. We've got a Season of the Burrow. I've played against this a couple times, but I don't actually know exactly what it does, because I just know what resolves based on what my opponent has chosen. So it's 5 mana for your choice of 5 paws worth of modes. You could get 5 1/1 rabbits. Those only cost 1 paw each. You can exile a non-land permanent and have its controller draw a card. Alright, so that could be 2 removal spells, but you give your opponent a card back per removal you spend. And then you can also return a permanent with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with an indestructible counter. Alright, that's very powerful and very flexible. If you really need removal, you can get it. But the strongest things I think this could do is just 5 1/1s or an indestructible 3-drop and 2 1/1s. Those are super ideal. But again, if your opponent has great threats on board and you need an answer, works that way too. So Season of the Burrow seems like a great place to start. For pick number 2, we don't have a great mono-white follow-up here. Waxwayne Witness, Life Creed Duo much later picks. We've got some fun rares with Wick the World Mind, a 2/4 and a 1/1. If you have a bunch of rats, you can make that 1/1 even bigger and then maybe sack it to draw some cards. Lunar Convocation is good in exactly a Bats deck that has a ton of life gain and no other decks, so it's a very, very narrow pick. However, there's not a ton going on in this pack, so I don't think it'd be unreasonable to take it. The competition is really just between Lunar Convocation and Fell, in my opinion, because Wick is also a somewhat inflexible card. You can play it as a fine filler card in any deck, but it's only going to be great in Rats. Whereas I think Convocation is probably going to be a little better in Bats than Wick would be in Rats, but Fell is going to be awesome in anything, and sure, this does mean that I'm headed in the black-white direction anyway, but this way, even if we end up in black-white specifically, we won't need to get a bunch of life gain synergies. We can play just a deck of a bunch of good cards. For example, our last green-black deck was a green-black deck, so you'd think it would be a squirrel deck with a bunch of foraging and great synergies and stuff, but it was really just a collection of all the strongest cards passed to us, and none of our squirrel synergy cards played particularly well in it, because we just had giant moose and hunter's talents and stuff, so I like taking the cards that are going to be good no matter what, not having to build around them here. Plus, these cards are going to be better if we get pushed off of white. If we just start with 2 Fell and then we head into blue-black or red-black or something, then these are still very playable, whereas the Convocation is not. Honestly, Nocturnal Hunger might be better than Fell. It's only 1 more mana to be able to destroy something at instant speed. You do have to pay some life or give somebody a food, but instant speed is a really good buff. I'm still just going to go with Fell as the uncommon there, but I could see the argument for the instant speed removal out of that pack. And for pick 4, we've got a white mythic, and we have 2 copies of Fell, so we have incredible cards in black and white now. We can go ahead and take the Starseer Mentor. If we wheel the Lunar Convocation, then we are home free to draft black-white bats. If not, probably want to stay a little flexible and see if there is an off-ramp, a backup plan, some other colors to hop into. So for pick 5, we're going to take the most flexible card out of this pack, which is probably Intrepid Rabbits, playing incredibly in any aggressive white deck, and I think all of the white decks are going to be relatively aggressive. That's just what white does best in this format, so let's grab Intrepid Rabbit here. Nocturne's pretty reasonable as well. It's a great late game play in any deck, and it does trigger your bat life gain stuff. But it's only a good play late game, whereas Rabbit is a good draw at any point in the game. I'm going to take the Rabbit here. Pick number 6, really good Rats build around. The Persistent Marsh Stalker, super fun one, but there's also a great Bats build around. This isn't really a build around, this is your synergy piece to get your build arounds to actually work, like your Starseer Mentor. What's so nice about the Life Creed Duo and the Bat decks is it makes all of the Bat creatures that trigger when you've gained life trigger the turn you play them. Like you play your Starseer Mentor, if you have a Life Creed Duo on board, you know it's going to trigger the turn you play it. Same with all the other Bat build around creatures, so I'm going to grab the Life Creed Duo. Pick 7, Sonar Strike's another good card for this archetype, but we do have 2 Fell already. for removal spells, so we could take the Agate Blade Assassin, which is another way to gain a life during your turn. I like having a removal spell that can gain life to trigger your bats, but having the creature that can gain life, no matter what, pretty much is nice too. And we have 2 Fel and sorta Season of the Burrow as removal already. I'll take the Assassin here. Pick 8, another Life Creed duo, beautiful. And pick 9 is where the Lunar Convocation was. If we see that that has been picked, then that is going to mean somebody else is going to fight us over bats here, probably. And it has been picked. That said, black and white have still had a lot of great cards in pretty much every pack that's been passed to us, so pack number 3, I would say, we should get a lot of gas for this deck, but pack 2, we're probably fighting over black-white bats stuff. We'll see. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. So we know we've set somebody else up to be black-white bats because they took Convocation. So there's some competition there. I have not seen a lot of good green cards, but I really like the Paw Patch Recruit. 2 creatures off of 1 spell, and every time your opponent uses any removal, you get 2+1/+1 counters on the board. Is ridiculously powerful. So a green-white or a black-white path is not the most likely here, again, just because I don't think we've seen a lot of good green getting passed, but it could be worth taking the Great Rare. But I think I'm going to ignore it because of the lack of green we've been seeing, and just take the Great Black Uncommon here, Thoughtstalker Warlock, a great enter the battlefield effect, whether or not you've dealt damage to your opponent. But if you have, then it is exceptional. Yeah, let's take the Warlock here. Well, that was unexpected. Whoever took the Lunar Convocation was not the person directly on our left, and Zoraline is going to lock us in on black-white bats, regardless of whether or not we're going to get past more bats in this pack. Sorry, Banishing Light. I am definitely happy to have a couple Fells and an early winter here, so that I don't have to feel bad at all about taking the incredible Reanimation Rare over the removal spell here. Alright, we're going to go back to sorting by mana value because Zoraline certainly locks us in to Orzhov bats. And the curve already looks pretty good. 4 2-drops, 4 2-drops, 2 3s, 2 4s, and 2 5s. Definitely want more 2s and 3s than anything, and some more non-creature spells, but this is an exceptional start to our black-white bats deck. Alright. These are some pretty filler 2-drops, the Nettle Guard and the Jolly Gerbils. These two are the good 2-drops for bat decks, the cards we already have, Life Creed Duos and Assassins. Downwind Damager is a great 4-drop for any deck, just a really flexible enter the battlefield effect. There's plenty of good 1 toughness cards, and this can have your small creatures trade up, like you attack with your 1/3 Assassin, just trump attack to get the life drain, then finish a big creature off, so that plays well. I think Ambusher is the strongest card here, but Glide Dive Duo does hit good synergies, giving us the life drain when it enters the battlefield to trigger our Starseer Mentor. I think I still just go with Downwind Damager. I think the card is just good enough for that. Take it over the synergy piece. And for pick 4, there's really not much here. Got enough 4-drops, I'm not going to play a Thornplate Intimidator. I suppose I could play an additional Waxwane Witness if we get enough Life Creed Duo Assassin style cards where this is consistently just a 3/4 Flying Vigilance for 4. It's a pretty good deal, and it is the bat creature type. So I'll take that over Fountain Port Bell being really the only competition, and that would be just in case there's something we really want to splash, but I find Fountain Port Bell to be pretty bad fixing, and the fixing in general in this format to be quite bad. So it would take something completely unhinged in power level to get me to splash. I just relatively, or generally, would not do it, so I'm just going to ignore the fixing for the most part. Now we can go ahead and take a Glide Dive Duo for the top of the curve. And this is about the maximum number of 5-drops I would want in this archetype, just 3 of them here. We're getting real chunky at these high mana values. We just want 2s and 3s now. Pick 6. Well, here's a 3-drop that gains a life every turn. Nice consistency. I'm not going to take another 5 mana removal spell. Scavenger's Talents. So it's going to give us a food token when our creatures die, and then we slowly mill our opponent. You can reanimate your own stuff. It's cool, but pretty slow. I think I just take Cleric. Scavenger's Talent could be pretty gross in decks that are producing their own food tokens through other means than by creatures dying, because you're just not guaranteed to have that happen. There's games where you're both just going to keep attacking past each other. There's games where they're just going to exile your stuff. Take a crumb and get it here. Get our 3rd assassin. We do not have the token production for Seasoned Warren Guard. Good card in Green-White Rabbits. But we have like 1 token in this deck, so I just take a Thistledown Players. Very filler 3-drop. I could also take that Dire Sight. That is a way for us to have lost life during our turn. I guess I probably should have taken that. Like, it's not a card I would ever want to run more than 1 copy of, but just 1 little card draw spell would be fine. And it's a card draw spell that synergizes with our Starseer, Mentor, Waxwane, Witness style cards. I think that was actually a mispick there. We should have taken the Surveil card draw spell. Would have been a better card, just stack it up over here. Both of these would have been mildly likely to get cut, but I do think that Dire Sight would have been way less likely. Well, what are the odds of that? Triple rare pack, 2 of the rares are the exact same card, the Iridescent Vine Lasher. Well, even if we're not a Lizards deck, Vine Lasher's just straight up good. 1 mana, 1/2 that pings your opponent whenever you play a land, or 3 mana for 1/2 and a 1/1, and you ping your opponent for 2 whenever you play a land. I guess it is way better in Lizards because you really care about having pinged your opponent. But this pack is empty enough otherwise. In black and white. This is a good Lizards combat trick, but it's really bad if you don't get the cost reduction. We've got a couple Lizards, so it might be okay here. Vine Lasher's got to be better than that. Stargaze is a ton of mana. I'd rather just play the Dire Sight thingy. And then Nettleguard just is not ideal for this deck, so we'll play around with the Vine Lasher there. Pack 3, pick 2. Here's a top-end creature that counts as removal as well. Grab a Driftgloom Coyote. Definitely a little high on 5 drops now, but the nice thing about this one is it's kind of removal and a creature all in one, so I can sort of treat it as like another early winter style card. Feel a little less bad about the curve. Easy Moonstone Harbinger. Very happy to see that card. 3 mana, 1/3 Flying Death Touch. Whenever you gain or lose life during your turn, all your bats get +1/+0 and Death Touch till end of turn. That is only going to trigger once each turn, but with enough life creed duos, just constantly have your whole board getting +1/+0. Here's another Assassin to work with that team. Head of the Homestead's a good card, but we've got technically 4 or 5 drop creatures already. So if I take Head of the Homestead, it's just to like swap out a different 5 drop, and I think all these other 5 drops are actually better by a little bit than Head of the Homestead, so we just take another Assassin because we actually have room for 2 drops. Don't want a 5th Assassin here? Or a Jolly Gerbils? Probably not. We could play 5 Assassins, it'd be really funny. I am not the biggest fan of Sinister Monolith. 4 mana draw 2 is pretty bad, and 4 mana drain your opponent slowly over the course of the game is also pretty bad. I just really want to rare draft this Sylvan Tutor, because this is a very fun, very good card for Commander, and while it is weaker in Brawl than Commander, it's still going to be a cool card to have access to in Historic Brawl. And look at that artwork. Yeah. I mean, we absolutely could have played one of those other cards in our deck, but this is just so cool. This is just the full-on rare draft. Give me a Sylvan Tutor. Feather of Flight might actually not be completely unplayable here with 4 assassins. Giving that flying seems pretty solid. Although, 2 fell, Early Winter, Driftgloom, Coyote. We could play a Sonar Strike too. This is an instant speed way to trigger the bat life gain. Yeah, we'll take the Sonar Strike. Another Moonrise Cleric. Easy peasy pick there. Definitely cut the Thistledown players at this point. We might even cut the Vine Lasher just to try to be almost all bats. And just because there's a lot of 3-drops on the curve. That would be where we have room to cut more cards. Which is weird, but again, I don't think there was anything else in our opening pack. Yeah, this pack was just not very good for the bat deck. Take that Stargaze. This will be our replacement for the other pay life draw spell that I wish we took. And I probably still just cut it. I could just go like super high creature count here where we drop Stargaze and then Early Winter is just really expensive non-creature spells. This is basically, this fits into the creature curve too. Cut like a 3-drop and a 4-drop after that. We have 4 assassins, 2 Moonrise Clerics. Those trigger every time they attack. And the Waxwane Witness does not do it only once per turn. So like I could have a turn where I play a creature, gain a life off a life credo, and then like also attack with a Moonrise Cleric, and this is a 4/4 flying vigilance. Or attack with an assassin and a cleric, and this is a 4/4 Waxwane Witness. I don't really want to cut either of these, and the Rabbit and the Amateur are just really good cards, so I don't cut either of those either. Maybe I cut a 3-drop and a land here. It's hard to cut any of the 3-drops, though, because then the Clerics are the ones that are synergizing into the Witness and the Starseer Mentor. And those are the weakest of the 3-drops, because Zorline's incredible, Warlock's incredible, Harbinger's incredible, and Vine Lasher is a solid rare. Like, yeah, again, like, Vine Lasher is not a bad card. You can play it in any deck. It's always going to be good, but what else do I have room to cut, really? I mean, I could cut one of the Witnesses and one of the Clerics and just not do that 4/4 Vigilance stuff. Just curve out a little earlier, a little more. But I feel like this looks like a very good Waxwane Witness deck, so I don't really want to do that. This is so weird. I'm going to cut Vine Lasher and a land here. Keep the max synergy here, and then since I'll be on a slightly lower land count, that means this will trigger less often in the first place. We're on an exact even split of black and white. So which one gets one more source? Or I could just cut the tap land, I guess. Because I am curving out a lot. Sure, just cut the tap land. And go for an exact 50-50 split. Zorline in the artwork. Yeah, very, very strong deck here. Super excited to see how it does, so without further ado, let's just hop into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the play for game 1 with quite a curve. Duo into the Warlock, hoping that the 1-power flyer manages to get through. But that is what the flying is for. And then Warlock gets to rip the best card out of their hands. We then curve into the Intrepid Rabbit, and hopefully by turn 5, they've killed one of our creatures, and that's a great turn to drop Zorline and reanimate whatever they killed. Oh, goodbye, Season of the Burrow, right? I don't like that the removal is exile-based, but the rest of their hand is all just bounce and removal stuff, so we get rid of their one actual threat, the Season of the Burrow, and we're home free to just keep hitting them until they draw a creature. Can keep spending all this 1-for-1 removal, we'll keep getting damage in. Patchwork banner on birds, probably, as their blue-white rabbits it is. Alright. I guess that is the most likely creature type to get tokens of. So you can flood the board with just a single copy of Head of the Homestead. You get a lot of damage off of a Patchwork banner. Intrepid Rabbit. Alright, pretty similar to the Head of the Homestead here. That is quite the board. It's going to be annoying to attack into, but with Zoraline, should be fine. I do need to draw another planes to play Zoraline and immediately reanimate somebody, which is absolutely the ideal that we're going for here. But we want to keep the pressure on, so let's send everybody in. Let's crumb and get it, and drop an assassin this turn. Give them a food to keep the 1/1. If the 1/1 gets 3 swings in, then it was worth the food. Even if it gets only like 2 swings in, it was worth it because they have to spend 2 mana into the food to get the 3 life. Vanishing Light on Warlock, probably. Would be a slight risk for our opponent, because then if we have our own Banishing Light, I could exile their Banishing Light and make them discard a card. But they do go for that. Was our biggest and hardest to block threat. Splash Lasher to stun somebody here. It's going to be the Waxwayne Witness. Ooh, and they do have the kicker to stun 2 things. Well, we didn't draw land for like 3 or 4 turns here, and now I have 2 5-drops that are just stuck. I can attack in and Sonar Strike the Splash Lasher, or I can drop a Zoraline that I know is going to get downdrafted. They put Zoraline on top. I know I'm not drawing a card again next turn because of that. Because I just redraw the Zoraline. Genuinely, I need a land so badly. I don't think I cast Zoraline here. I think I just Sonar Strike the Splash Lasher. While they're tapped out before they can run away together, pick it up, and stun more things off of it. Three-tree mascot. So run away together is active again. Yeah. That is pretty funny, Arena. Double white and basically double white here. Swamp 4 it is on the 50-50 split. They get a free kill on the assassin. But if I don't attack with assassin, not triggering Waxwayne Witness. I guess I could have pre-combated Zoraline. And they definitely downdraft Zoraline. I'd like to get them to downdraft something else and then just put it on bottom. Although, if the downdraft's out of the way... If the downdraft is out of the way... Then I know they have a run away together to put Zoraline back in my hand before we declare an attack, but that'd be their 1 creature on board getting put back in their hand. I mean, I'm going to play Zoraline now. I'm going to recast Zoraline next turn if they run away together. Then I'm going to spend my white mana on the 2 mana ability the turn after that. Yeah, my mana's going to be soaked up. I'm not going to be able to recast this next turn if I put it back on top. It's going to take several turns before I'm putting mana into that. So might as well just look for the white source. So again, I could have Zoralined pre-combat for the buff on the Vigilant card, but they were just gonna downdraft it anyway. I guess the big upside to that is that then I wouldn't be chump attacking with the assassin. God dang it, they drew into a sugar coat. Find a Harbinger here. Not nothing. Do I have anything in my deck to get rid of a sugar coat? Sure don't. So, let's be open to sacking Zoraline to buff the bats at a future time. Downwind Ambusher. I think I have to hold the mana up for that instead of sacking a Zoraline. I guess I could just play it right now to hit for 4. Get another creature on board and not actually sack Zoraline. I don't get an edge of the battlefield effect off of it. I guess they bounce Harbinger in response. Yeah, no. I guess we do actually just hold this till their end step then. Right, because they could just bounce in response there. It's definitely not sack the food. If I sack the food... Well... I don't know. I mean, we were ahead enough it didn't matter, but I guess if I sacked the food, since I had priority there, if I sacked the food, I was gonna get the Harbinger trigger and deal 1 extra damage. But they could bounce the Harbinger in response. But then I could just recast it for 3. Maybe it was sack the food. And then they kind of have to bounce Harbinger before damage, so they don't go to 1 life, and then I just spend the rest of my mana on recasting Harbinger since they bounced it during combat. Yeah, I guess since we had priority to sack the food and put this trigger on the stack before they could run away together, it was worth it. Just sack the food there. But we still get there. Very sad game for Zoraline, though. We just never hit the double white to actually cast them and reanimate something immediately. That's obviously the goal at all points, because if you don't immediately reanimate something with Zoraline, then you're at risk of your opponent just using 1-for-1 removal, and you didn't really get to bomb around. And that is exactly what happened, because we couldn't find White Source 2, but it was alright. We still curved out real aggressively, and our opponent had an awkward hand. Alright, playing against blue-red. Mismatching lands. Valley Flamecaller is the first play. Can't attack into that, and it's a pretty threatening card. Let's just fell it. It's not the most mana-efficient play we can make here, but that is certainly a removal target. Four mana from our opponent. Another one. What is this? Do I assassin and fell here? Or do I just drop cleric again? I guess I just fell again. The exact perfect trades. 2 fell for 2 Flamecaller. Pearl of Wisdom, get a draw 2 here. Drop a land. And what else does our blue-red otter friend have? Nothing. Well, quadruple assassin deck is rolling in here. We get to spend all 5 of our mana this turn. I don't think there's a lot of blue-red board wipes in this format. There's one that does 2 damage to everybody and 3 damage to 1 target. All of our cards have 3 toughness, so that would not work. There's the Splash Lasher kicked again. Alright, it's pretty good. Yep, can't attack into that well. We just drop another flyer and pass. Lily Pad Village can give them some scries. There's Ral Crackling Wit. Well, that's a massive issue. Get a 1/1 prowess every turn. Get loyalty counters on it just by casting spells. They ultimate it. Instant sorceries have storm. Okay, so it's mainly just a bunch of otters and a bunch of card draw, which is still pretty bad for me. But I think I can just send everybody at their face primarily. See what's coming up here before we choose our attacks. Waxwayne Witness? Oh my god. Napkeep. They kill one assassin if I attack with all of them. They kill one assassin, but we get 3 drains. That's gotta be worth it, right? This is gonna be the biggest Waxwayne Witness ever. Unless they do manage to kill like 2 assassins this turn. But even then. If they've got a good prowess spell, they might be able to kill all 3. Instant speed removal on one assassin. Put a 2/2 and a 1/1 blocking one, and then the 3/3 on the other one. That has a cap sprue. Aw, shoot, that works. Lets them kill 2 of them. But I get a fish back. And I still drained for 3 life on the attack. Which is enough to put them to dead next turn. Attack with 2 clerics and an assassin. We drain them for 1, they're at 5. We drain them for 1, they're at 4. And then the 2 power flyers finish them off at that point. Yeah, this attack looked worth it, because this threatens the lethal next turn if they don't find a way to kill any of the clerics. They're dead on board. So they need to do the draw 3, discard 2 off of Ral.
There's evidence here somewhere.
And here's the draw 3, discard 2. And we're going to have 4 attackers on the ground, so it's possible we even chip in for an extra point or 2 with our tokens. They have so much mana, though. Probably get a couple more blockers while still paying for removal here. Oh, no. Any spell they cast does 2 to a creature now. They need to cast 2 spells to kill one of the clerics, or the assassin, though. But if they have a removal spell, that'll work. Well, that's a 1-mana spell. All they need is a 2-drop now, and one of the clerics is dead. Yeah, gross. Alright, and then next turn they just cast more spells with this season and pop off. They've got 3 blockers on the ground for 4 attackers. So I can get a 1/1 through, put them to 4. Cleric hits them, put them to 2. Waxwayne Witness resolves. They have to find a way to kill another flyer. They have to cast 2 spells next turn, but Ral gives them the draw 3, discard 2 again. Oh boy. Yeah, so the Sharepot can kill the cleric or the Waxwayne Witness. I guess even if I don't attack with all the ground troops, I'm threatening 2-turn lethal. Poke them for 2, they're at 3, and then I attack with Assassin and whatever flyers left. They only kill 1 with the Sharepot. They have to double spell us. I think I probably poke with just the 1 then. See, I could have put them to 1 if I made another 1/1 and attacked with everybody. But then they have food token and the removal here. And this way I get to actually scry instead of scrying when I already know I'm drawing Waxwayne Witness. Alright, they gotta find a double spell. I mean, it has to be double spell and cheap enough to spend 5 on the share pot. Or they have to quadruple spell us. Because they need to kill both the flyers. Ral is doing his best, though. So there's the Battler. That's one spell. They need a 0 mana spell to kill the Cleric and the Waxwing Witness here. Unless they have a removal spell, then they kill both. And that was a great draw. Okay, 1 mana spell works now. Play a 1 mana spell and use the share pot. On the removal spell. Jesus.
I am confident this will.
Double mythic pretty hard right now. Ral's Season of the Bold is popping off like nobody's business. We still have a lot of super live draws. Our own Season of the Bold would be unstoppable. Or our own season. We just make an indestructible Moonrise Cleric and that's GG. Zoraline's obviously GG. So those are the 2 biggest draws I can think of, but we've got plenty other flyers that would also be very good. They are out of Season of the Bold damage to deal. But they do still have the share pot now. Glide Dive Duo would be lethal. Oh boy. Yeah. I guess I go to combat and attack first. Well, shoot, maybe I should have cast it first. It depends what's in their hand, right? If they have instant speed removal, it's better to attack first because they probably won't kill the assassin, but if I put them to 1, they will. But if they have a counterspell in hand, it's better to cast first to see if this resolves. Oh, they have the food token. They have the food token. I'm a doofus. This still puts them to 1 swing dead to duo, but I should have just cast this and then attacked both next turn. Yeah. Whoops. I forgot about the food. That's on me. There's too much other mythic triggers and everything going on. Well, shoot. So they should be at 4 and we should still have an assassin right now. Another Sazakap Sprue. I'm surprised they didn't attack any more with another Sazakap Sprue. But they are at a very low life total, so fair enough. Oh, please not like this. I have so many insta-lethal cards.
I can invent my way to victory.
Season of the Burrow, Starseer Mentor, Waxwing Witness, Zoraline.
I thirst for information.
It's about 4 cards. I guess that's not a ton. Those all super win the game. This Ral was busted. I guess they could have tried attacking Ral a lot more, but I realistically only got in for about 5 damage or something. They plussed Ral a little harder, they still could have defended him. They would be at a much higher life total if we had gotten Ral killed by now. I don't know. It's a rough game.
Thanks for the helping.
Wow, I just realized. I was gonna say this is. It feels like a really winnable matchup, but we had to play against both their mythics with none of our rares. And then I realized, hold on, we had to fight through rare, rare, mythic, rare, mythic, rare. It was like 6+ rares here. Jeez. Talk about a juiced deck. And yeah, the short bow makes our list of outs pretty much just Zorline now. And we're getting low enough on life that Zorline's a little risky. Now that they have the reach, yeah, the short bow. And it's just lands. God, I wish this was best of 3.
Together we can.
But this was not the game for us. Again, we could have played it out differently. Maybe we had to just pile on to Ral, but it would have taken several turns to kill the Ral. Then they have a lot higher life total to play around with. And the risk of piling on to Ral is that every time they play a spell, Ral just gets a loyalty counter anyway, so there's just no confirmation you're getting anywhere throwing all that damage at Ral. We could have made it so they didn't get to -3 as often, but I'm pretty sure they could have kept Ral around just getting 1/1s. The preemptive GG from opponent, because they know we're going to top deck lands.
You get to be my.
R.I.P. Yeah. Winnable matchup. Maybe it was even a winnable game had we attacked Ral harder, but it was going to be a difficult fight through all that nonsense. And we are 1-1 heading into game 3. All right, here we are for game 3. Harbinger into Waxbane Witness with Sonar Strike for 1 trigger of these cards. And would be perfect with any of our 2-drops. Because all of our 2-drops trigger both of these. But we did not quite get there for the perfect hand. Still looks pretty good. And it is going to be the black-white mirror match. Unfortunately, our opponent looks like they did get there with the perfect hand. They have the Life Greed Duel on 2. They have the removal on 3. They're going to curve out on us and be very happy here. They've got perfect synergy for whatever they hit, and there it is, the Waxbane Witness. Do I play to the board with the rabbit, or do I just go for Ambusher here to finish off? I think I'm going to go for the Ambusher to finish off. Worst case scenario, we drop Moonrise Cleric, hold up Sonar Strike. That's mana efficient. Best case scenario, we just drop Ambusher and we're super happy. Beautiful. I guess I could have... No, I couldn't have -1/-1. Never mind. I was like, I could have -1/-1 to make it faster, but then it would be 3 toughness against 2 power. It would not have died. It's Starseer, Mentor, Life Creed Duo combo. That's frustrating. We've still got Cleric Sonar Strike here. Feels like a play. I hold this in hand, though, right? Hold this in hand for the discard. There's their own Waxbane Witness. Gain the life, trigger that. Trigger Starseed Mentor. Or Starseer Mentor. I think I still lose life, though, in a life gain deck. I can't Intrepid Rabbit Sonar Strike, so I can't Intrepid Rabbit pretty much. Intrepid Rabbit on the Ambusher later is going to be a pretty threatening swing. Oof. That feels good for me. Nom 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 nom. No! god, the bomb rare reanimation to get double Starseer Mentor triggers every turn. Oh, baby. Is today the day of just getting out bombed? It definitely feels like it. Oh boy. Baba Booey. Double block trading a witness means assassin just kills that or gets in. They're 21. I mean, killing the duo is still solid. Yeah, I think I actually send the team here. Coiling Rebirth with the Starseer Mentor is such a nasty little trick. This is going to be Sonar Strike. Guess I should have just not blocked. That's the only thing that makes sense to me here at common would be Sonar Strike. But if they had Sonar Strike, they get to use it on attacks anyway. Yeah, Sonar Strike deletes our Waxwing Witness no matter what I do. Oh, Repel Calamity. Okay. That is way less bad for us than Sonar Strike, because that means the Witness was going to die no matter what. Play the Scales to trigger the Mentor. Oh, boy. We have to sack the rabbit here. This Carrot Cake for the double scry plus gain 3 feels worth not discarding. And it gives me the 1/1s to sack as well. Hello there, fashionably late friend. Yep. Just mentor it up. I'm out of flyers. Yeah, we're just dead. Out bombed again. I guess, I mean, we're not dead yet. That's 7 life. They do need a follow-up. Probably should have sacked the thing during our upkeep since our draw was just a 2-mana play anyway. Yeah, we missed an extra scry here. Shrike Force, that is very lethal. Probably, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at 7. Guess not yet. Okay. That's something. Gonna hold off a little damage. to kill my life creed duo without losing a creature. They would take 2 more damage to do it though, so maybe that was worth doing. Because if they take 2 more damage, they're dead to the assassins next turn. No! The Warren Elder? Oh right, any creature they draw gains them 2 life. Yeah, it was probably not worth Trump attacking with duo to put them to 2, because then they hit anything and they're back up to not dead to the assassins anyway. Hello. They can buff the whole team for +1/+1. Block an assassin with a 3/3. Block another assassin with a 2/2 and a 2/3. And block the duo with a 2/3. They block literally everything and go to 4. They kill my whole board without losing a creature. So we don't attack, we just play duo and pass. I was maybe a little overexcited about the Glide Dive duo because it does not get through the Warren Elder. Oh boy, the Saver for the removal that also gains life to trigger the Mentor. And gains life to put them to 7. Keep them very out of reach of the assassins. Where the rares though? Please. Please, Arena. You know, the worst part is both of our rares need double white. And I keep having to discard lands. I guess I'm at 14. Can lose the life next time. They trade a Life Creed duo up into Glide Dive duo on this attack. Since they only have 4 up, they would lose a creature, but it's still not worth it. If they have the 8 mana up, then attacks are completely worthless. Monolith is actually very good right now. The one good Monolith position is when you have Starseer Mentor on board in a top deck war. And here we are. Bottom 17. Come to me, Zoraline. Come to me, Season of Hope. I hope we find it. I have to go to freaking 6 life to keep the white source to play my rares. But they're like my biggest outs. Make some 3/4 life Creed duos, double block Waxwayne Witness here. But then Glide Dive duo gets in, but then 3/4, so 3/4 there. 3/4, 3/3 there. 3/3 there. We just don't attack, do we? Man. This Mentor is like one of the grossest cards to duplicate because of that ability. Just a 1/1 version of it is so good. Why? Why have you forsaken me? You're so late, Zoraline. I'm just dead. I'm just dead, Zoraline. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3. 3 life. Can I Thought Stalker their last card? Over picking up a flyer. Waxwing Witness gains 1 life on the swing and it's vigilant, and they don't have the Warren Elder mana right now. Guess I probably can then. I guess that puts me to... See, this is 3, this is 4 power. I need this to be 5 power. So I actually have to trigger it one more time. So I need Harbinger to get the attack in with it, which lets them keep their last card in hand. But I really want to get the attack with it to get the life gain here. I don't want to attack with a non-vigilant creature at 4. They have double Warren Elder buffs, so they just trade a Life Creed duo into Zoraline. Like, I can definitely get Death Touch here, but doesn't really matter. Because they're just buffing up one of their smallest creatures to trade off anyway. Single creature gets through and I die. So if they just don't block at all, I die. But if they don't block at all, they die. They have to lose somebody here. I should have sequenced this differently. Should have gained the life first, probably. I guess Carrot Cake's pretty good against the Mentor triggers. Is that worth it? I feel like that's probably worth it. Draw a Moonrise Cleric. And they have to block here so that I'm not just dead in the sky next turn. Very close though, 6 life. I have to get hit by like a Life Creed duo or something. I mean, they can trade into both of these for sure. Duo for Zoraline trade. Take 6. If I crack the Carrot Cake, I make them take 7, but 7 is still not lethal. Harbinger only triggers once per turn, so cracking the Carrot Cake does not double buff Waxwing Witness. There's 1 buff. There's 2 buffs. Yeah, I can put them to 1. I guess that makes it so they can't crack Sinister Monolith. To draw 2 next turn. Because they'll be at 1, then they'll drain us for 1, then they can't pay the 2 life. No. I'm still not going to do it. It's probably better to be able to have Death Touch on blocks. Strike Force. Oh, right, and Life Creed Duo would just make it so they can still crack the Monolith anyway. Yep, and then this is horrific. We just can't. We just can't break through the Mentors with the Monolith. Now that Zorline's gone. Oh, it feels like we got so close. 1 damage off on that Witness attack. If I had Crumman get it, they'd be dead. Found Zorline infinitely too late. I don't even think we have a hope now. I was going to say our one hope would be finding our Season of Hope, but I don't even think Season of Hope's enough at this point. All right, the Warren Elder. Wow, yeah, this is disgusting. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't get to give my whole board Death Touch anymore, but I get to get the Strike Force out of here. Probably have to. Now I have to sack like my whole board to the double Mentor. Technically triple Mentor. Well, no, quadruple Mentor. So they played 1 Starseer Mentor on us. They then reanimated it and made a copy. That's 3 of them. And then they played another Mentor. Oh, man. And that's it. That was gross. Card of the game was absolutely that early Coiling Rebirth on the first Mentor. That completely crushed us. That like 10 for 1 us throughout the game with how much we had to discard and sacrifice towards it. They just got that ball rolling early and we did not find any solutions to it or bombs of our own until more than 3/4 of the way through our deck. Which is way too late after having gotten like 10 for 1. Alright. 1 and 2 to start it off, but we can still recover if we hit some actually solid hands here, like this Zoraline hand. If we can do our own absurd stuff, instead of just getting steamrolled, we can turn this draft around. This deck is certainly capable of blowout hands like we've been playing against. Missing land drops is not a good start to it, though. I'm gonna spend the Crumb and get it on the Orator, just because we're so choked on mana. We're not really gonna have the time to be doing much better with that for a while anyway. We probably start with Moonrise Cleric and follow it up with the Harbinger to guarantee that buff on the swing. I don't really want a Zoraline until I'm getting an ETB effect of reanimating something. Oh my god. I hate this game. So if they kill anything or trade off with anything, they get a 2/2 rat. If they kill 2 of our cards, they get 2 3/3 rats. If they kill 3 of them, they get 3 4/4 rats. This card is pretty much unbeatable if you don't kill it immediately, and we didn't draw our Fells or our Sonar Strike. Because then we'd have a chance this game, and Arena does not want that today. This is 1 more point of damage than playing Harbinger, so let's do it because I'm angry. And Vren's the kind of card we need to outrace as quickly as possible. So I'll go for the extra damage. The Flyer's probably still better here, just because we can actually attack past the rats with it, I guess. 1 less damage, but then I hit for 1 more damage on future turns. That's not removal, that's just a stun spell. Love to see that. Starseer Mentor with the Assassin trigger here. I'm gonna attack in, even though they're gonna get a rat, because they have to consider if I have a trick. I tried to hold full control, but Arena just still cheaty-faced told them I had nothing. You could probably see by the fact that full control came up. I was intending to move to attacks, but wait a second, as if I have priority still to have a spell to cast, but I didn't click Control Shift, I just clicked the control button, so that's not enough. So opponent just gets to know that they have a free block, which is frustrating. Yep. Now they've got the Flyer, but we have probably too much damage. Zorline doesn't actually do anything here, but Harbinger certainly does. Boom, boom. Hit for 4, trigger Mentor again. All they have is a chump. I guess if they don't have a board wipe, we actually just slam down Zorline here just for more Flyers. And they're over it. Okay. Pretty sure I was getting Vrend out of it, but Flyers are probably the best way to get around Vren. If your opponent doesn't have enough removal to kill all the Flyers. That is the only time I think I've beaten Vren in the past, like, 7 games against Vren. But I guess every other time, I just had a bunch of ground troops. And it's like, as soon as Vren makes just 2 rats, like, you never get in again, because they can just double block with the 2 rats, trade to your creature, get another rat, and it's just, like, insurmountable. So it looks like the best play around Vren, if you don't have removal in hand, is to go to the skies. But obviously, that's not, like, something you can choose to do. It's just if your deck has Flyers, it has Flyers. Hope your deck has Flyers if you run against Vren. Let's hope to get back at it again with some non-interactive games of Magic that lead in our favor this time. Pretty much every game so far has involved some really absurd synergies or bombs. And that includes our victories. We've had some Zorlines and some Mentors popping off, and hopefully this will be no different. Another Zorline hand with the double white and double black to immediately trigger the Zorline later. Pretty aggressive start from our opponent. 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, all creatures, all playing to the board from their Boros deck. So I'm happy our deck just naturally has some life gain, but I'm still pretty worried here. They have another Bravekin duo? Nah, they're just going to activate this one. If they had another Bravekin duo, that'd be another Rabbit, and they would draw the card here. So I do only lose 1 of these creatures if I double block, so a double block isn't horrific, and it gets something engraved for Zorline later. Yeah, I don't mind that. Goodbye to Cleric, but we reanimated off Zorline when we hit land 5. Just buy us a little time against this aggro deck. So pop the Carrot Cake, get a Scry, try to Scry into another Rabbit, or maybe they do just have a 2-mana Rabbit in their hand anyway. Another carrot cake would not work. The Lupin Flower Village cannot cast carrot cakes. Drop a rock face village. Buff the host. Send for 5. We can't even kill that if we double block, so we'll just take it. They might have been relying on casting a carrot cake there and didn't realize they couldn't. Auto tapper sucks in this format, by the way, because I'm pretty sure it auto tapped this way. If it had auto tapped this village, then they would have still had a white source up to play another carrot cake if they had another one. So that feels like the most likely thing that happened there, is they just got by the auto tapper, not letting them cast their non-creature spell, which is rough. Get ready for a big Waxwayne Witness. Wax right onto our opponent's face. Head of the Homestead. That definitely draws them a card off the host. And gets a big swing in here. We're 1 mana off from both of our bombs now. Can actually just get an Indestructible Moonrise Cleric. That feels pretty good. Indestructible Moonrise Cleric, 2 chump blockers feels ideal. Yep. Go team, go. This Waxwayne Witness is about to be so happy. Look at it go. Whee. Kill one of the assassins for 3. They could actually have killed 2 of the assassins, but they lose a rabbit. They only lose like 1 token. At 11 life, I am not going to do the Zor line. I'm going to do the season. Boop, 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 boop. Stuff. I actually have so many blocks because of Indestructible as well. If they have the thing that +2... Okay. If they +2/+1 the whole board, we're dead. Otherwise, I think we're in a solid spot here. That's actually no flyers from our opponent. This Waxwayne Witness is about to mega lethal our opponent. Like, mega lethal. This is going to be awesome. Oh, they didn't even let it happen. I don't think... Actually, yeah, it was lethal on board. Never mind. It was exact lethal? No, it was like 9 damage on board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9. It was 9 damage on board because they get drained for 2, so that's 2 damage. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 6 damage, and we gain 1 there. So the drain for 2 and the gain 1 is 3 buffs on Waxwayne Witness, so that's 9 damage on board. Say I was already lethal on board. But if we play Zoraline as well, then there's 2 bats attacking. And I can pay life. So I pay life, that's 10. 2 bats attacking, 11, 12. This Witness is just gigantic. That's hilarious. All right. No one's having fun today. All bombs, no interaction. 3 and 2. Get back at it. Let's be the villains. We've got a Zoraline. And we've got 3 mana. Uh-oh. Now we have both our rares. But that Thornvault Forager is a problem. That's going to let them play to the board really quickly here. Especially Mana Dork on the play is always brutal. Yeah, they just have a 4-drop when I have a 2-drop. Yikes. And if they ever run out of stuff to do, they just keep fueling themselves with the tutor ability there. God, do I have to just hold up Sonar Strike here? No, I think I still play the Cleric down. This is rough. Just have a 4/4 unblockable on our turn 2. Find Reap Mentor and Baker's Bane duo this turn. Rabbit gives me really solid blocks for everything except the Rampager here. Helps me play to the board a little more. Give our opponent a little boop. share pot. If they get a 5th mana, they blow up whatever they want. Okay, let's make sure we have something in grave. For Zorline, like 7's painful. We didn't hit the Zorline mana, sadly. So Sonar Strike gives us a lot of breathing room. Carrot Cake blocks the Marsh Stalker super well. Still feel like we're in a solid spot here. Honestly, attacking the Assassin into the Marsh Stalker does not feel bad because it's not going to block well anyway. And I'm already going to have perfect blocks for that Marsh Stalker. Yeah, no, we've got more than enough cards, especially with Zorline Season of the Burrow, to stabilize and get ahead here. I'm surprised with this trade, but very fine with it. I'm not going to spend a crumb and get it there. I am going to Sonar Strike the Rampager while they're... Ooh. Another 5-drop? No, Zorline Season of the Burrow is already so much more than we need to win the game here. Let's not get greedy. Let's just try to make it more likely we actually cast one of these cards next turn. Here's the Hunter's Talent, so that's their plan to win the long game. Very happy I killed the 4/4, but they can still Hunter's Talent the Mentor up to being big enough until I can kill it on blocks, which will be next turn. Yep. And we wait for Season of the Burrow so I can just make an indestructible Zorline next turn. Whatever I pick up is just going to trade into Mentor on blocks, so I'm going to pick up Intrepid Rabbit here, actually. So that the next card I pick up on Zorline might actually stick around, which is the Moonrise Cleric. Yep, Polywallop. Kill Zorline. Trade Rabbit into Mentor. So that they're not going to get any card draw, and then we Season the Burrow back into Indestructible Zorline and go to town. And there's the concession from our opponent. A horrible game for them, but we are happy to recover from their initial onslaught and be 4-2. Basically at the break-even point here as we head into Game 7. Alright, we just do not stop dropping our rares in these later games of the draft. That 1-2 start really was our villain origin story, because we are doing some evil things to our opponents. Hopefully, we will continue to be absolutely evil this game. It is going to require, hopefully, hitting some cheaper stuff to curve out with, but now we get to go 3-4-5 curve, which is fine. Yeah, with another 5-drop to play, we're just going to play an Intrepid Rabbit as a 3-mana 3/2. Card would be horrible if that was its base text. Just a 3-mana 3/2 with no abilities, but sometimes that's just the way your hand plays out. And that's the best way to curve it. Playing against a blue-red deck, there's the Tempest Angler, which can get very big, but we have the Coyote no matter how big it gets, and there's the 5th mana. I'm cool to offer the trade with that. Blue-red has a lot of spells available, so the Angler is likely to become at least a 4/4 where the Rabbit can't even trade with it, so the trade would be good. Pearl of Wisdom for only 2 mana thanks to their Tempest Angler on board. 2 mana up to do whatever they want with. Ooh, I'm very happy to see them not attack there, because if they did, regardless of whether or not they had anything in their hand, I really couldn't block. I can take that bluff any spell killing the Waxbane Witness. So we just Coyote the Angler down since Season of the Burrow is just 5 1/1s right now, which is actually not that exciting. Really like the Season of the Burrow with the indestructible reanimation first. No! Dazzling denial. Well, was not really expecting that. I guess I should have been, because they are like a blue-red spells deck, but I still find the denial to be a much better birds card than blue-red card, just because obviously the 2 mana payment versus 4 mana payment. Denial becomes much easier to deal with earlier in a blue-red deck than a blue-white deck, because you don't need that much flood to pay the 2, but you would have to be astronomically late in the game to be able to pay 4 into it. Well, they killed a witness here, which is awkward because the witness is too big to actually Season the Burrow back. But I can't attack into the boar anyway. I don't know. If I don't take this trade and I just keep attacking with this, they eventually just hold this off and then I can't send into it. I have to 2 for 1 myself to kill it there. Let's just take the 1 for 1 kill. Not perfect, but it's a trade up in mana value. Man, do I have to just Season the Burrow for 5 rabbits? I guess I could have killed the boar, let them draw a card, but they already have 4 in hand. Maybe this was our Season the Burrow, let them draw a card game. It's definitely not on the angler here. Yeah, no. I completely forgot we could have exiled the board and let them draw a card there. Just completely blanked my mind. That was absolutely the best use of the Season of the Burrow. Might get us killed because we are certainly flooding a little here. So without the Waxwing Witness, we just don't have any threats. Well, there we go. Moonrise Cleric's a new threat, and it's one that they could kill and we could reanimate with Season. They're down to 12, taking 2 in the sky every turn. They're on a 6-turn clock. They've played a small enough amount of creatures that maybe just a Season of Burrow for 5 rabbits would stack into enough damage over time by now that we could have killed them. This is now 4 blockers on the ground. Assassin. There's no blue-red trick to give flying out of nowhere, as far as I remember. Even if there is, we Season the Burrow back the Cleric. This could just be the burn spell. Take out the trash. They take the hit. Cool. Yeah, now 5 rabbits is like these 2 would be attacking as well. So there's 7 attackers, 3 rabbits get in for like 3. I'm definitely playing this card wrong. By far the best opportunity would have been exiling the boar. They haven't played anything that would have killed the Waxwing Witness otherwise. That was absolutely a punt. They would probably just be dead by now. I think that'd be at least like 6 more points of damage in the sky at this point. 7, because this life gain trigger from Cleric would have buffed the Witness. And then the turn that we Sonar Striked away the blocker on the ground, we would have gained life and buffed the Witness again, so it would have been like 8 damage that we missed out on by not having the Waxwing Witness here. I mean, I'll never know what card they would have drawn, but it would have been something they've already played by now, and nothing they've played by now would have been burn. Like, sure, they'd have this next card at this point, and maybe that card's burn, but if they didn't draw the burn until now, they would have taken the 8 damage. Super bad Season of the Burrow lines, but it is what it is. One day I will learn Mythics. Today is not that day. Flyers still just be flying here. Right. Our opponent's been getting a lot of pings, but so far so good on flyers just flying. Still riveting commentary this game. Super bad Season of the Burrow play into flyers be flying, I guess. Here they are, watch them fly. At this point, with the amount of creatures they have on their board, it might be safest to just ditch this out as chumps. It's also a gain 5 thanks to Life Creed Duo. There's definitely an argument for just using that for blocks now. But if they kill a single one of our flyers, then they're no longer dead in 2 turns, they're dead in like 5 turns. So I like having the Season of the Burrow, so the second they kill a flyer, I just get it right back. It's actually very wild to me they have not found burn yet. Oh god, their entire board does an extra damage now? Okay, we need the rabbit tokens. I'm sorry to say, there will be no flyer reanimation going on here. Unless they kill one right now. So, lizard, mice, otters, raccoons. These are otters. The rat. Ooh, doubling up the Coruscation Mage pings is incredibly threatening. Cast your spell. Get your free kill on Intrepid Rabbit. And then I'll Season the Burrow back to Intrepid. That is surprising. I guess it gives them Threshold for Mind Drill Assailant. I could Season of the Burrow back the Intrepid Rabbit pre-combat, but then if they have instant speed removal to shoot one of my flyers with, I'm not getting a flyer back. I am presenting lethal if I Season of the Burrow back the rabbit, though, which makes it so tempting, because then we have 4 damage in the sky plus 1 from Assassin's Life Drain. I don't believe I can Offspring on a Reanimate. Yeah, it's a cast. Offspring is a cast ability. Oh, it's so bold. So bold to try to go for just lethal right now. Off of the reanimation on rabbit. Because yeah, then if they just kill whatever I buff with the rabbit, they're going to kill us faster than we kill them for sure. Yeah, I think I have to post-combat it here. So we have that opportunity to bring back a flyer. If they have the burn. And if they don't have the burn, then that sucks, because that means we could have just had lethal. But again, the risk was massive here. And is it better to have an indestructible 3/2 and 2 1/1s, or just 5 1/1s? Opponent at 2 life. I think I just get 5 1/1s. This gives me a chance of going wide around all their blockers, and it just makes it less likely they can go wide and kill me, and less likely that they can get Coruscation Mage pings to kill me. They have to kill both my flyers to not die next turn. So I think I just really need to survive one turn, and then we just attack in next turn and win. Because they need to kill Cleric and Duo, or Cleric and Assassin to not take 2. Considering this is a Lizard Otter, shouldn't it deal 3 damage to me when they tap Flame Collar? No, obviously rules is written, no, but it would be funny. Because it's a lizard and an otter. So it's +2? Oh my god. Well, they're still dead without removal. But that's horrific. So I poke them for 1 with Moonrise Cleric and 1 with the Assassin. If they have removal, we just lose. I don't think our deck can really beat the -1/-0. So, well, no, but we still have removal in our deck. Our double fell would win us the game. Our Crumb and Get It would win us the game. And if they don't have removal, we've already won. Our Harbinger would win the game. Moonstone Harbinger. Zorline. Actually, I don't know if Zorline actually does it. Glide Dive Duo certainly does. Does Zorline win? Yeah, because Intrepid Rabbit. Yeah, we have a lot of lethal top decks, even if they do kill one of our creatures here. Just play it safe, right? Oh yeah, these are all 0/1s, so they don't kill anything. Shoot. I guess I just block the big ones then and take 2, 3, 4. Yeah, since I can't kill anything, let's just take the 4. I could put the Assassin on the 1/1, but if they have anything that buffs it with +1 power or anything like that, the Assassin would die. Just since the Assassin is an integral part of lethaling my opponent next turn, I'm not going to put it at even the slightest risk. Night Whirl Hermit, 2 mana up. I believe we get there. They could have a runaway together at this point as the only spell I can think of. There's a different unsummon that would work as well. They can bounce the Cleric. But I don't think there's a 1 mana red card that can do it, filtering mana from the Hidden Grotto. Let's see what spell they've got in the hand here. We couldn't have Warlocked it because we don't get to choose what they discard unless we've damaged our opponent. And we don't damage them until the attack. Alright. They got a lot of damage dealt to us, but they played like 0 removal all game, which is super lucky. Honestly, probably deserved to lose that one for how I played that season of Burrow, just completely forgetting its flexibility as removal. Because since they did not have any removal early, if we just kept the Waxwing Witness on board, we would have won it so much faster. So played very, very poorly, but luckily we just got luckier than our opponent and drew better stuff. We are 5-2 in the money out of the draft, heading into round number 8. Time to punt our way into some more gems, shall we? Well, that's a great hand. Harbinger Cleric guarantees all the bats getting a big swing every turn. Duo into Harbinger means we're attacking for 2 damage turn 2. Yeah, we play the Harbinger turn 3. That's going to be more damage just immediately, right? We attack for 2 on turn 3, and then this will be attacking as a 2-power creature as well, so it's going to hit just as hard as the Cleric would hit. Like this hand a lot. Alright, here we are against another white deck. Black-white, it's the bat mirror, but they start with a Nettle Guard. That's not a bat. What are you doing? I don't want any part in this nonsense. Bats only. Welcome to my face. We're down to 17. There's a Hidden Grotto Surveil. And a Daggerfang Duo. That's also not a bat. And they didn't mill. Alright. They play a good creature, we can Assassin plus Fell. If they don't, we can play Waxwing Witness. I think just by having life gain, we should be winning the race, but they do already have 6 damage on board versus our 4. Again, that's assuming that the Duo and Harbinger stay on board. If they're both on board, then we're gonna definitely be giving all the bats +1/+0 each turn, so this is kind of like 4 power on board towards attacks. Take my 6, we're down to 12. Good creature, good creature, good creature. Nope. 1 Marshstalker. It is good enough. I could play Assassin, hold up Sonar Strike, but it's definitely not good enough to fell here. 12 life, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage max. I definitely don't die next turn, so I'm going to drop the Witness. And then Sonar Strike is going to help us get back in the race. Get the life totals back in our favor, and the board state in our favor. Next turn could just be double removal. It could be Sonar Strike Fell. Sonar Strike during our turn, preferably, but that'd be only if they have tapped creatures. Consumed by Greed. Make me sack the 2 for it. That is rough. Go down to 3. Alright, well, can't really play the next Witness then, so we go ahead and Sonar Strike the Duo to gain some life. Trigger the bats to swing for 4. I could play the Witness, gain a life past turn. At 4 life? They'd need double removal to kill me? I guess Assassin Sonar Strike feels pretty good. Then I gain a life right now to get the bigger swing. And unless they have, like, Crumb and Get It, I guess even if they had Crumb and Get It, they could have Indestructible if we cast it during our turn. Not good. It's also not dead, but incredibly close. Do they have the 1 mana Indestructible trick? No, that must be Nettle Guard holding for them. Okay, this is a close game of Magic. Fell the Nettle Guard, play a Cleric. I have to fell it. It's just because the life totals are so sketchy at this point. Have to hold 2 blockers up to play around removal here. Oh boy. Oh boy, the hop to it. Forced block here. Cleric can block these without dying. I guess Duo can too. Yeah, I think I have to do that. Just because Cleric's bigger. Cleric attacks for 3 here, and I go to 3 life. They need double removal to kill me again. And I have lethal next turn. If they stop playing stuff, please. Oh, we just get Crumb and get it in, which we know they didn't have earlier. Oh no, it's Glide Dive Duo? Land Glide Dive? No! Ah, one turn off. Shoot. Alright. Super close game of Magic to end it. But that was just a super aggressive opening hand from our opponent with all the cheap removal. Dang. I think we were on the play too. That was really fast from our opponent. Just a turn a tempo away. If we were on the draw, then we could have won on the play, because then we would be a turn faster in tempo. But I'm pretty sure we were on the play, and they still did that. So we would have had to been like super on the play. Time walk on turn 1. I could have won the game if I had a free time walk. All right. Close game to end it off, but we get 5-3. Super reasonable record. I do think this deck's a little better than that on average, just because of the power level of the bombs, the Zoraline, and the Season of the Burrow, and our synergies all together too. 4 assassins, 2 duos. The witnesses went pretty crazy. Yeah, I think overall the deck is very, very good. That last loss was really close, but our other losses we just got blown out by absolute absurd bombs, which is fair. Balances things out with the Zoraline Season of the Burrow nonsense we were doing to some opponents. But those games, I think, were just against really incredible decks, and don't see anything particularly bad about our deck itself. It's just that we ran against crazy, crazy stuff. So yeah, I think those losses don't make this deck any less good. I think the deck's pretty great. It's got a little less removal than I would care for, but outside of that, everything in the deck is pretty premium. So very happy with the draft. Definitely happy with the way I've built this one. Just some gameplay errors and some very strong opponents hold us down to 5-3 today, where we're still very much in the money. But that's going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.